In this video, I interview Michelle Nolden, who plays Jessica Fleming on Heartland, seasons 14, 15, 16, and beyond. She was such a gem. Watch this. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, how did you get cast for season 14?
It's actually a very beautiful story. My mom had passed, so it was like the day after her funeral, and I was driving with my husband. We were going to buy a tree to plant in my mom's honor, and I saw all of these beautiful horses, and I said to my husband, I feel like I really need to ride again. I said, and I feel like I really need to get away. And so my husband said, yes, for sure. And then the very next day, I got a call from my agent, and she said, there's a role in Heartland that a woman was supposed to do, and she's got another job and she can't do it, and they need somebody really quickly. Do you want to do it? And I said, yes. I felt like my mom was up there in heaven, and she just moved a few things, and she said, and if my mom had to choose a show that I would be on, it would be Heartland. So I feel like it was sort of meant to be. It all was it's a kind of a beautiful story. I feel like the role sort of found me when I needed it. It's been really wonderful, a show where people are like, oh, you're on Heartland. Look, you're on Heartland. So my aunt loves that show, or my mom, or my brother, or whatever. That's one of the amazing things about the show, is that there's something for everybody in it. So what I really love about it is that I can watch it with my kids, right?
Oh,
So it's one of those few things that you can actually kind of do family viewing. And I love that there's romance at every age, from like 13, like budding romance, all the way up to, grandma and grandpa. And I'm a grandma now, I guess, a step grandma.
Wait, you are? No, not in real life, only on the show.
On the show, because
oh, the show on the show. Oh my gosh.
That makes me a step grandma. Somebody pointed that out, and I was like, what? I'm not ready to be grandma yet.
Lisa is a great grandmother, so that's got even more weird for her.
Right. I mean, I feel like because we're sort of in there, we're not quite there. We can still sort of be in a bit of denial about it, but yeah.
Right.
But that there's romance at every age, because
Yes.
it's so important, right? Because
It's so cool. It is so, you're right. It's so important. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, and all the family things that we deal with are different at every age. And so you can watch something. I think if you grow up with the show, it can appeal to you 10 years ago, and then you watch it now and you see it with a different lens. But
Yeah.
The stories, the families are the same, but you've just kind of grown up with the characters, so the stories have different resonance. I don't know if I'm articulating that very well, but
No, that's so true.
you know,
How cool is it being on Heartland, though?
it's great. I mean, we were just talking yesterday. We had some fabulous guests that came in, which I won't tell you the storyline because, of course, and we were out riding, and you just, you're looking at this vista in Alberta, and it's just so beautiful. And everyone was like, what a great gig. What a great job to come to every day. And we were sort of talking about why the vibe on set is so great. And I think a lot of that has to do with Amber, because she really sets this beautiful tone, and she's just a very giving, generous. All the regular cast is. And she was saying that a lot of that comes from just because it's so beautiful, right? It's just so beautiful there, and the horses are there, and the animals are there, and so it just creates a very there's a lot of gratitude, I think, just generally. Like when you look around, you go, pretty lucky to be here.
Definitely. Now, you said that you have a little hobby farm. Like, what prompted that, and what kind of farm is it? Like, what do you have? What kind of animals?
So what prompted it? I don't know. We were just like, hey, let's do it. There was a bunch of reasons.
Oh,
Part of
cool.
it was that my dad had also recently passed, so I wanted to go home
Sorry.
to my mom. So we moved closer to where my family is. We were just looking for a little bit of adventure, I think, and just wanted to do a bit of a change. So we have chickens.
I do too. Awesome.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
How many chickens do you have?
I have 5. I actually showed Amber when I interviewed her. I have a little like Polish. I had a little Polish baby hen. They're so
Oh,
cute. They have those little plumes on the top. You have chickens. Do you have horses too and other animals?
no, so chickens are my biggest animal other than my dogs. And then we have bees.
Oh,
Um,
wow, really?
yeah, we have bees, which we don't actually do a lot too, but we have a really dear friend of ours who's a cinematographer, and on his spare time, he is a beekeeper. So
Oh,
he
neat.
basically just does all the bees, and then he pays us in honey.
Oh, that's so neat. I know you can't talk too much about it, but is there anything you could tell us about season 16? Because everybody is dying to know.
Been some really lovely stuff for me, which has been really, I'm very grateful for. I think Tim and Jessica have sort of settled into married life. So, Jessica's been there now for 2 years. They've been married for two seasons. So, she's sort of settling into being in Alberta, and she gets a pair of cowboy boots and things that are just little kind of like. I remember talking to wardrobe and I was like, I think Jessica needs a pair of cowboy boots. Like I think Tim would have taken her downtown and they would have got her some, kind of. So I think she straddles between New York and and the ranch.
Right.
And still missing New York because that was a really huge part of who she was. And, falling in love with Tim was a big whirlwind, and that all happened very fast. And then when the dust sort of settles, you kind of go, well, what are the things that she misses about?
Right. And that's how much your character, Jessica, is so much like Lou, Michelle Morgan, and you guys share the same name. And I know there's quite a bit of rivalry on the show between you two. How is that?
And I knew Michelle before I came on the show. So it's really fun to play any kind of, where we lock heads or whatever, because it's just so not like that. So it's always fun when you can, play that. But yeah, it's they come from that same background, and Jessica was not nice. Like she was a real corporate climber, and really she was very powerful and wanted to leave that life. So I'm really trying to find those like little nuggets of the old Jessica a bit, but I think that's also what makes her a formidable match for Tim, because I don't think she takes his shit either, or is
Right.
yeah, for him.
And then there's also Tim has a couple of he always mentors younger people on the show, whether it's Jade. He also mentors a little bit. I feel like Logan might be a character that he might get more involved with. Is that something that you could see happening? For some reason in my mind, I think it's possible Tim and Jessica could adopt Logan as like their surrogate son. I still see them as being more like.
I never even thought of that. Well, I really love Drew, so I'd be totally happy to do that.
Oh, he's so cool.
He's such a great kid.
Now, who's your best friend? Speaking of that, is there anyone like you talked about Drew and that you're pretty close to Logan character on the show? Is there anyone like your best friend? I mean, obviously you have to be in a lot of scenes with Chris Potter.
Of course, Lisa and I, or Jess and I, we often, we'll get together and then we talk about all sorts of other stuff. And of course, we're like the two wives on the show, so we're like, they need to do a scene with us as like the two missuses. So yeah, everybody's great. Like I can't say that anybody I'm sort of closer to. I feel lucky to have kind of had a chance to get to know everybody.
Are your kids ever thinking about possibly going into acting as well? Even maybe on Heartland at some point?
I don't know. They might, but it would be down the line. Nobody's been like, hey, I want to be an actor. So right now, it's kind of, I mean, my husband's in the business too. So he's producer. So, every once in a while we throw them in to things.
Oh, right. Like you can play the 12-year-old in this, right?
Yeah. We actually did a little very sort of low budget thing called Free Range Children, which was about our chickens. It's on Bell 5. You can download it or whatever, but it's us sort of figuring out what to do being farmers now.
That is so neat. I really, really appreciate it tonight. Bye. And don't forget to please like and subscribe for more great videos all about Heartland. More interviews coming up soon. Bye for now.